people out of consensus trance.
Marijuana is basically a very mild drug which creates euphoria. Also, it has the unpleasant consequence of distorting the sense of the user to the point that people on trips have been known to open the door of a car going 80 miles per hour and step out, since they could walk faster. When the world went druggy about 1960, this problem of drying out became one of the first order. It was not just a problem to us. All pre-Scientology efforts failed, and have been failing for all of man's history, but relatively small numbers have been involved. After 1960, the problem became planet-wide. Anyone on drugs who has taken drugs is doomed as a being, just like that. He or she will cave right on in and finish up in the ash can from here on out. Only processing by Dianetics and Scientology can handle the effects of drugs fully. No other technology, medical or biochemical, has ever helped. We have thousands of cases to prove this completely. Processing such as Dianetics is not effective when done on a person who is taking drugs. A person on drugs is very hard to audit. If you were talking to an Army colonel, what would you talk about?
I couldn't talk to any Army colonel I ever saw.
Fine, thank you. All right. If you were talking to an Army colonel about that, what would you say exactly?
I would tell him he's too stupid to find his own balls.
Fine, thank you. And if you were talking to the president, what would you talk about?
Drug hysteria.
Fine, thank you. And what would you say exactly?
What are you trying to do? Turn America into a nation of rats? Our pioneer ancestors would piss in their graves.
Despite Ron's love of both illicit drugs and potent pharmaceuticals, Scientologists are avowedly anti-drug. That is except for the cigarettes they smoke in imitation of the great Ron, and their use of booze and coffee. They even have a drug rehab branch, Narconon, which critics accuse them of using as a front group for collecting new and unsuspecting membership through.
Everywhere, Scientology reaches the public through its front organizations, some of them misleadingly named. Some are pressure groups campaigning on issues like mental health, which seems to obsess Scientologists. Others are controversial campaigns aimed at school children. And Scientology has others to help the unfortunate, like ex-offenders, and particularly drug users.
Narconon is a drug rehabilitation center. It's a front group for Scientology. It's designed to help people get off drugs, which it does successfully, but then it converts people from that into Scientology. They're taken off drugs. They're put onto a program to help them do better in life. The program is basically Scientology processing or training, and from there they are indoctrinated, and from there they're converted to a Scientologist.
And how many of those former drug addicts become Scientologists?
Anywhere from 50 to 75%.
Scientology-supported drug and literacy programs are multiplying around the country.
I'd like people to know that the activities of the church are helping millions of people around the world every day. There are a lot of people who have found something that helps them, and that help is available to anybody who would like to have it.
Scientology says the programs which use books written by Hubbard are secular. Skeptics call them recruitment fronts that hide their ties to the church.
We can become a drug rehabilitation program. We've got nothing to do with religion. We become pious priests. You're threatening my freedom of religion. We can become educational programs. Oh, we're just here to help your son learn to read. We can become all those things, but really all it is it's just one master plan to infiltrate all of these areas according to Hubbard's doctrine, and you become whatever it needs to become to protect it and infiltrate it and take it over.
Narconon, a drug rehab program with ties to Scientology, has recently come under scrutiny.
Scientology was collecting money from local school boards and also collecting money from corporations and businesses and using that money to finance their lectures in the schools, which promoted the Purification Rundown, which is a religious practice in the Church of Scientology.
Narconon recently set up shop inside the Ensenada State Prison, a Mexican penitentiary where inmates have easy access to heroin. The program, run by Joe Domingo, son of famed tenor Placido Domingo, utilizes Hubbard's drug technology to help prisoners kick drugs. Inmates help build saunas at the prison in order to utilize Narconon's purification rundown.
I was a heroin addict, and I had a long-term heroin addiction and a problem with substance abuse, and went to jail 3 times, tried other programs, almost died, basically, and the Narconon program saved my life.
Despite the church's involvement in these social programs, critics still say the motives are sinister.
Narconon was started by convict and drug addict William Bennett in the mid-1960s. It claims to be a rehabilitation program for alcoholics and other drug addicts, and at different times and in different places has gained state support. Hubbard's interest in the group may have been inspired in part by Crowley's first published novel in 1922, The Diary of a Drug Fiend, a detailed account of drug addiction and the drug experience. It tells the story of a man and woman who fall madly in love and travel throughout Europe in a frenzied haze of heroin and cocaine usage. When their drug supply is cut off, they face despair, and they turn to the guidance of King Lammas, a master adept, to free themselves from their addiction through the application of practical magic. An interesting story that addresses the psychology of drug addiction and its cure through the use of the true will. Currently, Narconon works alongside Scientology's Say No to Drugs campaign, their youth groups, the Drug-Free Marshals and Drug-Free Ambassadors. Narconon is advocated by Scientologist and former cocaine addict Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley,
and
Scientologist.
Yes.
Years before Kirstie Alley joined the cast of Cheers, she was a struggling actress, hooked on drugs.
I didn't want to do drugs anymore, but I didn't want to live life without doing drugs. And the life was just being squelched out of me. It was a slow death. I had one auditing session in Scientology, and I never did drugs again or had the urge to do drugs again.
The doses of vitamins are so high on the purification rundown that they become potentially dangerous. Several vitamins are poisonous in high doses, and vitamin B1 can have a disorienting effect similar to that of certain drugs. The Oklahoma Mental Health Board was especially concerned about the use of vitamin B3 in the form of niacin, which in large doses has been connected with liver failure. Large doses of niacin are administered to patients during the Narconon program to rid the body of radiation. There is no credible evidence that niacin in any way gets radiation out of the patient's body. Rather, the more credible medical evidence suggests that the existence of potential medical risks to persons receiving high doses of niacin.
It is probably Narconon and Scientology's image as a drug-free religion that accounts for the church's penetration into more mainstream culture. Currently, the church claims over 8 million members worldwide. The drug rehab element of Scientology has been what has attracted numbers of the stars to the organization.
It's John Travolta and the Church of Scientology! Hooray! Wow, thanks, Scientologists.
Hey, no problems, you guys. And now you can take these personality tests.
Okay.
It's those meddling Scientologists again, mates. Let's get them.
Join the Church of Scientology.
Never. You have to kill me first.
Okay. Looks like our work here is done. Let's party.
Come on!
Yeah, I think this will come in real handy. Toilet paper.
Inside the controversial Church of Scientology. You've heard about famous members Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Lisa Marie Presley. Now a new generation of stars are turning to the church.
Is there any reason why it is such a force in Hollywood?
Jags Catherine Bell, the King of Queens star Leah Remini, Danny Masterson from That 70s Show.
The main thing for me about Scientology is that it's kept me off the drugs.
Now the stars respond to charges that the church is really a cult, as we take you inside the classrooms and the purification ritual at the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. The Church of Scientology has attracted some of Hollywood's most powerful stars. Now we can take you inside as a whole new generation of celebrities has joined the controversial religion in the Entertainment Tonight cover story. John Travolta says it's been the key to his success.
I know that's a lot of the reason that I'm where I am today.
Lisa Marie Presley credits it with her very survival.
Scientology entered and saved my life and my